families. This week on Community Chat, Hagen Nares Truck Wreck and Brain Injury Lawyers is speaking with Marie Drake, CEO of the Drake Law Firm in Golden, Colorado. Marie specializes in family law, including divorce, common law marriage, property division, spousal support, child support, and custody, adoption, and marital agreements. Marie is a straight shooter. She tells her clients how it is and makes sure the legal process is explained clearly and the case is moving along efficiently. This is really important. She has developed a positive reputation for what she terms no bullshit divorces. That is appreciated by opposing counsel, judges, and clients alike. We are welcoming Marie to share her journey in starting the Drake Law Firm, what it's like to be a client of hers, and a training tidbit for the community. Welcome, Marie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your podcast. It's so sweet, Caitlin. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you. I've known you as kind of since the inception of my law firm. You've been really pivotal in guidance on the growth of my law firm, and it's really based on the success that you've been recently having, that you have a great reputation in the community for doing family law, specifically divorces, and the unique way and take that you have on it. And we're going to get into that. But first off, you are a pivotal member of the legal community. You are a CEO, and you are running a very successful business. And what I always like to say is this: the way people are running the business internally is how they treat their clients. It's not one the same. The efficiency, the well-run law firm is also going to show in the well-run cases that they have. And you truly are remarkable in that sense. So I want to find out from you, how did you start the Drake Law Firm? How did it come about? And what was the idea to go out on your own?
Well, it's going to sound a little woo-woo, but I just had such a strong hunch that if I didn't start my own law firm, I was not going to do it. Like, I had a window and I needed to just go ahead and make the leap. I was working at a great firm and I loved the people there. And in fact, I've referred cases to them. They've referred cases to me. So there were no burned bridges or anything like that. But I just had this strong hunch. And generally, not always, but almost always, my intuition is something to follow. And I will pay for it if I don't. So I didn't have much. I have to be honest, I didn't have much of a plan. And I was a philosophy French major. So I didn't have any accounting in my background like my father had hoped for. And I just jumped out on my own. I had a 90-day plan. I had a spreadsheet, and I was like, if I'm not making a profit at the end of 90 days, I'll go find another job. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did. And on the 91st day, I had rented an office. I was making a profit, a small one, and I was in business. So I gave myself absolutely no time. And in retrospect, I understand now that, I was somehow in some kind of bucket of grace that I did just fall on my face. But it worked out. And a couple of clients came with me, and I ended up with a client on the first day I was open. And so it just all worked out and slowly built from there. And that was in March of 2011. So.
Well, I think that's fantastic. Your firm has everything. It's weathered financial crisis. It's weathered COVID. It just shows the strong structure that it has, which leads me into my next question about what is it like to be a client of the Drake Law Firm? How do you stand out? And you certainly do. How do you stand out from other, family law firms out there, people that are specializing in divorce?
Well, the first thing that I tell clients when they come in is that we're different because what we like to do is if two people are divorcing and it really is over, then once those financial documents are exchanged, and in Colorado, just like most states, that financial transparency is required by law. Once those documents are exchanged and we've analyzed them, we immediately put together our client's position in what's called a separation agreement. That's one document that handles assets and debts and taxes and a few other issues. And a parenting plan, which of course is everything about the children. We put together those documents with our client's position so that when we go into court-ordered mediation, and mediation is almost always court-ordered in these cases, we don't just go into mediation. We send that document to the other side with our client's blessing, of course, and we send that to the mediator. So the mediator has those Word documents in front of him or her during the mediation to work off of. And while there's lots of cases that do require litigation, the vast majority, these are two people who need to separate. They need to do it with the least amount of stress. And especially for the children, the least amount of stress is what we're aiming for. And we do that by just not waiting. So many law firms will just sit on a case and wait until the court says, hey, have you set mediation yet? Or we need to set trial. Let's get going. Let's get going. We're just going. And we do it as soon as we can because there's no reason not to be efficient about this. Now, things will be more complicated in a case where there's privately held business or businesses, multiple properties. Then we have to get valuations, appraisals. There's a little more to it, of course, in the higher asset cases. But in a general average divorce, we should be able to put together our client's position as soon as those financial documents are analyzed and sit down with that client and just say, is this everything that you're looking for within reason? Okay, we're going to send that over now. And sometimes, a lot of cases don't even go to mediation because once the horse trading starts, people are in the mode of, okay, how can we do this in a way so that as we go into our separate lives, we can still interact with one another without the stress because we've come to an agreement. A court isn't saying you do this, this, and this, but the two of us have come to an agreement with the help of our attorneys. So that's what sets us apart. And sometimes, frankly, the other side doesn't like it because the business model sometimes in some other law firms, and it's just something I've observed over the last 24 years, the business model is to wait on these cases until the pressure's on. But I don't see how that serves the client. And we're in a service business. So how do we serve our clients? We try to find a solution for them. We're in the solution finding business. We're not in the waiting and, having a court breathe down our neck business. So that's how we set ourselves apart.
It's fantastic. It's like you're going at this in a mode of positivity and what the client actually wants. What are their goals? They want to turn a corner in a page, start their new life, move on, have things go smoothly, keep it maybe an amicable relationship, have things good for the kids. All of that is in your mind when you're thinking, let's have this done as efficiently as possible. And I think that's why you stand out and your firm stands out. And you have said no bullshit divorces. And is that what you really mean by that? That it's like, let's get to what the clients want.
That's right. And there's no reason to gin up conflict where there is none. Now, there are legitimate reasons to be in conflict with the other side. If someone's trying to have a less than equitable division of property, if there's unfairness, like there's lots of reasons to advocate strongly for a client. There's also a way to do that in conjunction with having the entire global settlement proposal laid out early. And it's just one of our philosophies here, and it seems to really serve people. So,
well, I think that's fantastic, and you've really gotten a great reputation in how you do divorces, and that leads to me asking, if you would share a training tidbit to the community. I don't know who this is geared for, but maybe it's anybody that is contemplating divorce. Maybe it's just someone that wants this knowledge so that they can share with friends or family. But because you're such an expert in this field, is there any kind of training tidbit that you can share with the community?
Sure. I think one of the main things, because I care a lot about kids, and also my parents divorced, remarried each other, and re-divorced each other over the course of my childhood. So I learned a lot about conflict. And by the way, at the end of each of their lives, on their deathbeds, they were saying that each other were the love of their lives. And that was such a wonderful thing to hear. But what I learned, and what I've learned from being a divorce attorney, is that you have this opportunity to show your children who the grown-up is in the room. Be the grown-up in the room. So go to the soccer games. Have a little chit-chat with the other parent. Don't have any conflict out in the open if at all possible. Go to therapy for yourself. Consider family therapy with your ex. Do the work. Do the work and step out of your own reactive, emotional, whatever it is, ball of energy, and just try to look at things from 30,000 feet. Okay, I've got an 8-year-old, I've got a 12-year-old. What is it going to be like to be at their weddings? I need to be able to look my ex in the eye and maybe walk down the aisle with him. Like we're going to show the kids now who the grown-ups are. And we're not going to bring them in and use them as weapons or somehow parentify them. We're going to be the grown-ups. And that's my tip for parents contemplating divorce.
I think that's lovely. I think that's just a great way to have a mindset of living. And if anybody has any questions, not only concerning divorce, but the array of things that your law firm does so well with regards to family law, what is the best way for them to contact you?
They can either email our scheduling coordinator and set up a consult, and the email is Tatiana at the Drake Law Firm, or they can call us at 303-261-8111. They can also go to our website, thedrakelawfirm.com, and just simply put their information in, and we'll reach back out right away. So there's a number of ways to reach us.
Fantastic. And I will include all of your contact information in the show notes. Thank you so much, Marie, for talking to us. You're who I trust. If anybody asks questions with regards to divorce, I direct them to you. So thank you for being such a great member of the community and sharing so many resources. And we appreciate you.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. It really was my honor.